Your Minnesota Vikings are starting the hashtag process of replacing fire defense coordinator Ed Donatel, and they got to do something. They got to tear this thing down, rebuild it. I don't care if it's a 3-4-4, 3-2-5, 9-6, 8-6-7-5, 3-0-9 defense. Do not care. Just can we stop someone just one time? And the Vikings' first interview, they announced that they completed the interview with Saints co-defensive regional coordinator and D-line coach Ryan Nielsen for their open OC position. And Ryan Nielsen, fired up. Kind of like it. And I've been trying to place like where we've seen Ryan Nielsen before. It's almost like someone tried to draw Andy Dalton from memory, or Joe Exotic in Witness Protection. I don't know. I really don't know. There's no way of possibly knowing. But Ryan Nielsen, background on him, 43 years young, played his college ball at USC back in the day. Oh, wait, hold on. All right, got to represent, fight on whenever we can. Had a cup of coffee with the Eagles back in the day as well. Jumped into collegiate coaching. Notable stays were at Northern Illinois, where he became co-defensive coordinator on top of recruiting coordinator, D-line coach, etc. Also, it's important to note, so D-line coordinator, or excuse me, recruiting coordinator is pretty important because that means he can communicate, he can get fired up, he can get these kids to commit to these schools and just say, hey, I can sell you. And salesmanship is a big part of coaching. And I do think that having some fire, some tenacity, I mean, just look at him. Like, he's already getting after it. I think that could be big on the Viking side of the ball, where they obviously need some energy. Then he went to NC State, where he had similar roles. Also practiced against Garrett Bradbury every day. Back in the day. It's fantastic, man. Jumped to the Saints in 2017 as their defensive line coach. It's been his first and only NFL stop. Yes, he was also on the opposing sideline for the Minneapolis Miracle, so face. That's right, man. And then he rose to be the co-regional defensive coordinator and D-line coach in 2022. Co-defense coordinator with DB coach Chris Richard, who has been tossed around in some defense coordinator circles as well. Head coach Dennis Allen was the defense coordinator. He took over as head coach after Sean Payton, took a gap year. Sure. And then Dennis Allen still called defensive plays. So it really was a sort of a Zimmer, Andre Patterson, Zimmer setup for the Saints head coach, as well as the two co-defensive coordinators. And he's coached some great defensive linemen during his time there with the Saints. Of course, Cam Jordan, David Onyemata, Marcus Davenport, Trey Hendrickson before he got paid by the Bengals, as well as Sheldon Rankins. So, I mean, he's had some really good defensive linemen on his resume. Mainly worked in the 4-3 with the Saints, as well as back at NC State. So it could be telling that if the Vikings go with Nielsen, that they're going to revert back to the 4-3, given his lack of experience with the 3-4. Plus, we said, I don't think the Vikings are married to the 3-4 personnel-wise. They never really went all in. So I think they're sort of scheme agnostic at this point. And hell, just play a multiple front. Play a front where you can actually tackle someone and get some pressure. Would love to see that, man. The Saints' defense this year was rather studly. 9th in points allowed, 5th in yards, 3rd in net yards per attempt in the passing game, as well as 6th for the red zone. So I think it's hard to parse out credit, right? Where you got solid players. I mean, the Saints have hit on a number of great defensive players in the last couple of drafts, as well as Dennis Allen, the head coach, is a defensive mind. And then how much credit does Nielsen as co-defensive coordinator who doesn't call plays, like how much credit does he get? Probably should get some. At least they're picking his brain. And I would like, since he does have a defensive line background, I would love for him to work with young guys like Osezi Otamuwo, working with Harrison Phillips, working with Jumpin' James Lynch, Kyrus Tonga, etc., along the Vikings D-line. And Vikings, they've interviewed Nielsen so far. They've also had requests out for Sean Desai, Brian Flores, TBD, what's going to happen with them. They do have interest elsewhere, notably Flores interviewed on Monday for the Cardinals open head coaching job, so we'll see what happens. But overall, I do think Ryan Nielsen, he does fit the mold of what the Vikings are going for culture-wise. Young, forward-thinking, and you're just betting on the come as opposed to trying to find a retread. Where the Kevin O'Connell first time around wanted something wanted something Vic Fangio adjacent. They settled with Donatel. Obviously, did not work. But with Nielsen, I mean, the Saints defense was the Saints defense, man. You got to respect it. So if Nielsen comes aboard, bring it on. Let's go back to the 4-3, by the way. Put Danielle Hunter's hand back in the dirt, and let's go from there. But your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings completed an interview with Saints co-regional defensive coordinator slash defensive line coach slash recruiting coordinator. Why not? Ryan Nielsen, let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.